2025 at 6:30 PM. Will come to order. Roll call. Becky Bernardi. Here. Tiffany Taylor is not present. Mark Biette.
Here.
Randy Vale. Here. Sherry Logan.
Yeah.
Okay, we have quorum established. Invocation. Like to say our prayer.
No.
They want to bow their heads. Our Father in heaven, holy is your name. We come before thee and ask, dear Lord, your blessings upon us and upon this community. Be with us and guide us during this meeting and through our lives. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I was thinking we're supposed to clap over that. Public comments. Do we have public comments?
No, Mayor, we do not.
No public comments today. Okay, moving on to new business. Wastewater Public Works report, no action. I have my reports here. And on the second page, I am told where it says lift station callouts, there are 6. 4 were on Amy, 2 were on Morris, and 2 were pump issues. Do we have any questions about our wastewater report? Good. Okay, thank you.
It says 4 was on Amy, 2 were on.
Yeah, 4 on Amy, 2 on Morris. And 2 of them were pump issues.
Right. For the 6.
You probably can't read my writing. I'm sorry, you're showing it to the camera.
Okay, it's not like.
Okay. Okay, moving on to item B, USDA and special unit update. Let's see. The main updates that I have, and I'm gonna let Rhonda fill in the gaps, is Community Unlimited finished their rate study except for the outstanding balances on the loan, and they got those today from the USDA, so should finish the rate study really soon. And we'll be getting that. The balances and interest rates were discussed by Clyde Payne, and actual balances on debt were discussed and requested. Contact is being made with the bond office to update them. And then, rest of it's just notes on the P&Ls. Okay. Rhonda, would you like to fill in from there? The main subjects.
This is a letter from the USDA from the 8th of January. And it has listed on here the $55,000. Our normal payments have been 2 a year, 1 in February, 1 in August, for $224,000. And in January, they asked for, instead of that payment being the $24,000, they asked for it to be the $55,203.12. Does everybody have that paper? Yeah, down at the bottom, you'll see where they're talking about what the current delinquent interest due and the current delinquent principal due. I don't believe that equals the number that he gave you today. Do you have that in your notes, what that number was that he gave to Chad Brown from Community Unlimited?
These are not actuals, these are just,
That was a ballpark on what he
yeah,
said.
ballpark numbers. And Clyde today said the number of down before I start. $1,650,528 is what is the outstanding balance for the loan.
That's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying it is now.
On the principal?
On the whole
On the whole
thing,
loan.
that's what I was saying, down at the very bottom of the page that I gave you.
It's 14,000,
Right,
That's what's going on.
yeah, so I was just wanting to call to your attention, this
We
letter
got
was
a
dated
different
on
number
January
today.
eighth.
So now they're added to that.
Well, I think what is going on, well, I'm pretty sure what is going on is that we're still under an accrual of $165 per day. He said today, $150 a day, but I think he
It's
misquoted it.
interest.
That is the interest that is accruing at a rate of $165 per day. The city attorney is gonna go into some other, stuff with you guys, so I'm not gonna step on hers. But this page that I'm gonna give you right now, this is what was presented to Communities Unlimited. This is your customer base. These are not exact numbers on the totals for each one. This is for your 2024 fiscal year. You can see it's gonna vary between the number of customers throughout the course of that fiscal. Anywhere ranging from 188, I believe your top number was 191. Your rate analysis is gonna be based on that. So if you're looking at October, that's per customer. If 188 people, on your customer list, if all of them paid, that would have been $22,748. And the reason it tells you in red at the bottom, did I give you the right one? It says this is a base list with totals, these do not reflect true totals. And the reason is, maybe 188 people didn't pay. Maybe 188 people did pay, and several of them had late fees from the previous month. Okay, so that's why this is a base, but it's a good number for you to take into consideration, and that time is coming when these numbers are gonna be really important to you.
This is all to get you ready for the next meetings coming up.
This is all to get you ready for what's coming.
So as of last month's session, Ms. Evelyn was saying that we have 200 customers.
Our guesstimation right now, I believe, is 206,
I don't know, I have to go look.
something like that.
You don't need it.
And like I said,
That was
it doesn't matter now, but it will when it comes time for you to start doing the figures. Everybody will have their calculators and their pens out, to come up with your rate. It's going to matter. It has increased now as of the last month showing, it was a total of 191. And your rate analysis is only based on your fiscal totals for 2024. 2025 doesn't play into it, but it doesn't mean at the end of the day, when you start doing your figurations, that it won't matter, because it will. It's going to matter because you've had an increase in your customer base. Go ahead. Anybody have any more questions about this? Talk to me. And Ms. Hodges is gonna, go into detail too. This page right here was presented to Communities Unlimited and has been included in the rate analysis, is nearly complete. And rate study.
Is that all you had?
Yeah, a lot of, what they discussed today, they have every intention of re-amortizing the debt for the city of Hawk Cove, which is amazing and awesome. That will put the city back on another 40-year debt plan. There's a little bit of teetering back and forth right now on what the interest rate is going to be. But, whatever, what was that, 3.375 or?
3.75, I believe.
Yeah, I don't have mine, that's why I was hoping you had yours. I think it was 3.375.
3.375%.
Okay.
Yes.
What we're currently paying on that, when we originally signed everything, it was gonna be 4.25% was your interest rate. What we actually paid was 4.125%. So that's a lower amount on the 3.375. But what they didn't take into consideration there was the median household income. All that stuff is gonna come into play before y'all have to make that decision. You're gonna be getting a bunch of numbers and you're gonna have to crunch them to make it work. Was there something else that I forgot? I think you already told everybody that it was gonna be, the next thing is the bond council. I asked at the last special assets unit meeting if the special assets unit could provide us with a draft proposal, because we were told by the bond council attorney that there's nothing they can do, we're in wait mode until we have a proposal. Okay, Clyde Payne told me at that meeting, and told the mayor and told the city attorney that he would be able to have me a draft by this meeting, which was today at 11:30 a.m. He did not have a draft prepared. I asked him several times to make sure that I was asking the right questions and getting appropriate answers. He then told us that he was not going to give us a proposal in writing. But he gave us the numbers, we took the notes, and we're going to have to put a proposal together for ourselves. But what we're gonna do is take it to the bond council. That's his forte, that's what he does. I think we've got all the criteria that they're gonna ask for. I don't know a time frame yet, but as soon as that meeting is had, I feel pretty confident that the bond council attorney, when he gets to a position, he's gonna come meet with the council. What I don't know is if that's going to be executive session or if it's gonna be in the public, because this is still considered negotiations with the federal government. This is a legal process. Now, obviously, the main crux of everything, will be for public, and I cannot tell you, I'm not the attorney, so I can't tell you which portions of that he's gonna wanna go into executive session. But I would suspect that that's exactly what he would do
Okay.
on that. Let me know and I can hand those out and instruct.
You for doing that. Not real steady on my.
Okay. Is that all you have this time, Lou?
I think so. And I have these that I'm gonna pass out when Ms. Hodges is ready.
Okay, all right, we're gonna move on to item C, the USDA report from the city attorney.
Good evening, everybody. If you can't hear me, speak up, cause I can't tell whether I'm loud enough for anybody.
There's no chair right here, is there?
We're gonna backtrack for just a minute. Part of the rate study includes the portions of a city attorney's fees that are attributable to the sewer infrastructure, the negotiations, anything to do with the city's sewer system that the city attorney participates in or acts on. One of the components of the rate study is going to be, from back in August of 2024, the council meeting of August 20th, in which your city attorney informed you that the FIA requests that were being sent to the USDA from a council member had accumulated, mind you, this is for almost 700 pages of review, and then having to do that 3 additional times, which cost the city quite a chunk of money, and that is going to be a portion of what is included in the rate study, because it is attributable to the USDA loan and thereby the sewer system. So, that's going to cause that rate study to hit a certain level. If that had not been so, that level would have been smaller. And I'm anticipating that it's gonna go up. I just don't see a way around it at this point. We don't have all of the numbers crunched yet. We were informed today during the Special Assets Unit meeting with USDA that the numbers that they gave us are subject to change. They said they will be changing. One of the things that concerns me though about the FOIA request from starting back, I think it was April, because it involved the March, when the Special Assets Unit came out in March of 2024. One of the things that concerns this council that you should be aware of is y'all never got any of the copies from that FOIA request, and you each should have been given a full set of those records by the person who ultimately requested and received them from the USDA, because that person was acting as a council member at the time, and has, to my knowledge, and I've come to every one of the council meetings, to my knowledge, that council member still has not supplied each of the council members and city administration with a full set of those documents. Again, I reiterate that that's almost 700 pages for each of you, but because that council person was acting as a council person in asking for them, it is that council person's responsibility and obligation to supply those documents to every member of the council as well as city administration. So that has not happened. It needs to be brought to your attention that it has not happened. And y'all need to do whatever you need to do about it, but that person is still responsible for getting those documents to everyone. The next portion, we all have been waiting. There has been, excuse me?
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. We all have been waiting for the financial, program transition to be producing things, and we have something that we believe is accurate. At least that's what everybody on the finance team has been saying, is that this looks like it has been properly coded to provide the individual accounting sections. And so for this meeting, we presently have what looks like a final on the profit and loss for the city between October 2023 and September 2024. Administrator McKeon is, what? Did I do something wrong?
No.
Okay. Administrator McKeon either has or is going to provide you with a packet of those items. And it says panel, P-A-N-D-L, but it's really profit and loss, P&L. And so, those documents, that information is now before the council to, review and analyze. Again, we're going to caution y'all, please do not discuss these documents among yourselves outside of a council meeting. We do not want our council members to fall prey to the legal processes that attend a TOMA violation. So that is important for y'all to take a look at and consider. The next item is going to today's, go.
May I interject before you go?
Sure, go.
Okay, the documents that you just received, that's what she's talking about.
And I haven't looked it over thoroughly
Okay,
either.
the financial team has assured us that, and this is great too, this is the first set of documents that we believe are coded correctly, like they're supposed to be, because the whole chart of accounts had to be completely revamped, recoded. This was put together for Communities Unlimited for for the rate analysis for 2024. So these should be the truest numbers that we have, that you now have, that we have available to us based on that. What we're hoping is that it's gonna follow suit and the rest will start, coming down the pipe. So that's what this is.
Where did this come from?
This was our financial
These
team.
numbers and-
Yes, these are, now what this is your first one's gonna be the entirety of the fiscal year from October 23 to September 24.
Right.
Because that's what the rate analysis encompasses. And then the documents that follow are those numbers broken down, by month.
I guess my actual question was, who put that together?
The financial team for the city of Hawk Cove.
Is that?
That would be, your CFO and the city secretary. That, we put that together.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah, they had gone in, and like I said, we had tons and tons of coding issues. But I think this was a good turnout on that. So this is what has already been provided for Communities Unlimited. These should be the truest numbers that we have to date.
And by way of, not really a parenthetical, but I've seen this team work, and I've seen what they've run into, and I've heard the complaints and the problems and the issues and the repeated attempts to analyze to make sure this got coded correctly. There have been a lot of issues with the program. There have been a lot of issues with the program deciding to do whatever it thinks it's supposed to do without following the information that is input. So on my behalf, if not for everybody in this room, I extend to the finance team a tremendous vote of thank you, because they have, and they got it done within 5 years, which is another astonishing situation. But they have really worked their butts off. They have really applied themselves. There've been a lot of arguments about it should be this way, it should be that way, and resolving that with the way it should be. I cannot express enough how much I appreciate every member on that team putting their efforts into finally being able to produce something to this city council that they have been vilified over having not produced it sooner. They've been vilified, suggesting that there was something nefarious about changing the program. And they still courageously kept working, kept their heads down, kept doing the job, despite the fact that there are some people who would far rather pull the rug out from under them.
Even Communities Unlimited complimented today.
With admiration. It wasn't just a compliment, it was admiration. And the Special Assets Unit has commented to us now on 2 different occasions that they are anticipating, with Communities Unlimited, making Hawk Cove a template example for other cities who are having the same structural issues. And that puts Hawk Cove kind of in the spotlight. So,
Yeah, they're wanting us to be a success story.
yep, they're working pretty hard at it from their side. So I wanted to address that for the council, because y'all don't attend those meetings. They're an integral portion of the administration of the city of Hawk Cove. But these people have really impressed me, and I don't impress easy. Now to turn back, are you done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. To turn back to the USDA Special Assets Unit meeting today. Back when we got started on this, and for the first year, Special Assets Unit was pretty laid back about the whole situation. We'll get this done next summer, next year, and there was no push, there was no nothing that suggested there was any kind of a crisis or frenetic need. Starting in March this year, all of a sudden, the Special Assets Unit was, we have to have this done in the next 2 months. Communities Unlimited, you have to have your part done in the next 6 weeks. City of Hot Cove, you need to be ready to vote this through one way or another within the next 2 months. And one thing and another being as it is, Community Unlimited is not, the City of Hot Cove is not the only client working with Communities Unlimited at the behest and direction and instruction of a Special Assets Unit. There are a lot of cities out there that are going through similar, if not the same things. So Communities Unlimited has been a little bit overwhelmed that now the Special Assets Unit and the USDA are, instead of saying, well, we'll get that done, this is the next step, we'll work through this, and then we'll go on to the step after this. Instead of that, it's all been jumped up, and it's been jumped up for many cities. Communities Unlimited is just about avalanched with this stuff. And the Special Assets Unit isn't particularly forgiving of that problem. That's Communities Unlimited's problem. So, these being the situation, we have been told over the last 6 weeks, certain figures that we were to expect to apply to either the loan or the reamortization. Today we got significantly different figures, and we were told that they are not cut in stone, they are going to change. The figures that we got today were significantly better, more optimistic for the City of Hot Cove. Yet this is the first time, and we've been continually asking about the figures that they were giving us. And we were pretty much being told adamantly that that's the way it was, and that's gonna be business as usual, and we're basically gonna have to absorb whatever they give us. Well, whatever they give us is not going to come from the Special Assets Unit. Whatever they give us is actually going to come from a rung or two higher on the ladder above them, which is something called the National Program. Again, a federal department related to these loans. And the National Program is the entity that is going to basically provide to the city what the take it or leave it requirements are going to be. So when we got these figures today, which are significantly more optimistic, we were kind of nonplussed. And now, for myself, as the city's attorney, I'm questioning whether it's gonna change back to the other, it's gonna stay like this, or is there the potential of being able to succeed in participating at a different level or in another program? There's basically two that I'm aware of for certain. One is the standard program. The next one down is called the intermediate program, and it has more favorable provisions. Back when this loan originated, there also was a further step down that was called poverty level for the city as a whole on averaging their income and ages and values and what it was considered a poverty level program. I'm not seeing or hearing about that. I have asked about it twice in the Special Assets Unit meetings, and I'm being told, we are being told, the city's being told, no, that program is not available. I don't know if that's going to be the end result. I think that Doge is certainly playing a significant part in pushing the Special Assets Unit to get their ducks lined up and become efficient. And the result of that is that's being handed down to the cities that the Special Assets Unit is working with. Hot Cove being one of those cities.
Might wanna add, losing Ivor.
Yeah, I'm about to get there.
Oh, okay, yes, sir.
So we don't know about these figures. I heard, Administrator McKeon mention and Mayor Spence, offer 3.375%. I've also seen and heard, a rate, that we started at 4.125%. The documents I have seen appear to assess the city at 4.25%. So we've got some additional documents that I have asked for, and they haven't arrived yet. So I can't confirm to this council's meeting, what the results of those documents will be. But as we go forward, there have been basically two main players in the Special Assets Unit. The one that seems to be doing the moving and shaking is Clyde Payne. And the one that has consistently appeared to be in a supervisory role over Mr. Payne, and to whom Mr. Payne has been showing significant deference, is Ivor Lunkin. Mr. Lunkin informed us today that today is his last conversation with us. He will no longer be involved with the Special Assets Unit. I think that Mr. Lunkin may have been one of the people who is so significantly involved in supporting the city of Hot Cove that he has been able to guide Mr. Payne toward concepts and considerations that Mr. Payne otherwise would not have entertained. I'm not saying that Mr. Payne doesn't have Hot Cove's best interest at heart. Obviously, Special Assets Unit must be a successful department or Doge is gonna move them. So, there are those concepts to consider. At the same time, we deeply regret the loss of Mr. Lunkin, because it has been apparent more than once that he has kept Mr. Payne on track, involved, and moving in a direction that would be beneficial to the city. So that's a loss to the city, and we very deeply regret it.
Yeah, some people might remember him when you had the Q&A. Wasn't he a participant in that?
When we had the screen that didn't work.
Right, that day.
Okay.
Now, y'all have just received some of the financial information that is being applied to determining or sending out to the national program for determination what is going to be the rate for the city of Hot Cove going forward from the date the reamortization is accepted. And I'm very strongly of the opinion that it's going to have to be accepted. It's going to be a take it or leave it situation. And if the city leaves it, I think those are questions that are best reserved for the workshop that we will have with Communities Unlimited, so the Communities Unlimited can explain that to all of us to our understanding and satisfaction. Because we're gonna need to know that before y'all say yay or nay. So, there's going to be more numbers. You're gonna be getting more numbers tossed at you, thrown at you, expecting you to be able to look at them and analyze them. Again, cautioning you, don't make a TOMA violation out of it. Do your own work, bring them in here, we'll talk about we'll try to make sure that everybody's on the same page. Because this is the forum in which that is supposed to happen, and it is the best forum by which all council members get the same information. So, that all said, I'm looking forward to the workshop. I don't know when that's going to be. It likely will come as a, special meeting, because it's a workshop. And, as a workshop, you still have to be careful of your TOMA violations. Nonetheless, it's a good opportunity for us to learn just how this works, what are the steps, what's going forward, and remember that SAU, Special Assets Unit, is right behind us, pushing us as hard as they can to move this on and get her done. And I think one of the reasons they wanna get her done is because the interest rates look like they are starting to trend down, which would be helpful to the city as well.
I think they said they were gonna look at the interest rate again, 7.1.
July 1st.
It can also be looked at, and I've done that research, it also can be looked at before then.
Right.
That's not cut in stone, that's
That's
just
up to
what
our
they're, it's kinda like a scheduled council meeting, a regular
A lot
council
of
meeting.
that's up to our president.
It is. So whenever we know when that, is going to be scheduled, these two things, you wanna make sure each council
Bring them
member
back
that
with
you, yes, bring them with you, you're going to need them.
As a reminder, this is strictly sewer money, this is not the entire everything, this is just sewer.
Right.
This is all that's on this, supposed to be on these sheets, it's
Right,
just
and that is what
sewer.
they, that is what they asked for, because that's how they did the determination on the rate analysis and rate study.
Yeah, they can't formulate the rate for the sewer if they compile other things into the rate study. It all has to be segregated
Right.
for sewer.
Right, she can't,
Did you have a question, Mr. Noy?
yeah, she can't see you, that's all it is, she can't.
Yeah,
see
she
you.
can't see you.
I not only can't see you, but I can't hear you very well, I'm sorry.
I'm not speaking because you're,
Uh,
am I able to speak? No.
Yes.
Okay.
You have some
Okay,
question?
so, yeah, so this packet, this that you gave us,
Yes,
you're telling me that this is the updated coding, this is what was turned into the special assets unit.
no, this was not turned into the special
What was
assets
this turned
unit,
into?
Communities
Communities
Unlimited.
Unlimited, which does the special assets unit have? Obviously, I guess they have copies of this information as well.
No,
Oh,
No,
well, no, they're not doing the rate
I
analysis.
understand, I'm
It's
just,
just
okay.
right now.
If they requested it, obviously they can have it, they have not requested it, but it was requested by Communities Unlimited and has been provided to them.
Okay.
and because Communities Unlimited is a private organization, it is not governmental, it is not subject to freedom of information or public information requests.
I understand, but they're contracted provider for them.
Yes.
Okay. So this was turned in for the rate study. This is correct?
Yes,
That is correct.
Okay. So this is a fiscal year from October 2023 to September 2024, is that correct?
yes.
And we're looking at a deficit of $113,641.61.
We're not looking at any deficit, there are no deficit
That's a
numbers.
deficit when you have a negative.
Because there's a negative on the bottom of
It's
that year. That's what it appeared to be. So,
$641.61. That is a deficit, that is a negative.
Let's let Trish answer that question, please.
Yes, Councilperson Bernardi, the P and Ls are just a snapshot, they do not show what was previously in the account or anything. So just keep that in mind
So-
with the deficit number, because each month, the number, of course, is going to change.
Right,
This is a 1-year fiscal
Yeah, it's the
year,
end of the year one.
and we're looking at what the income is and what the expenses are, and therefore that gives you a bottom line. So we're saying for the year, we were in a deficit, a negative of $113,641.61.
Mr.
No,
Marty,
it
those are
costs
your,
that
those are
much.
your words, that's not
That's
the
what it
case.
says on the paper.
Okay, I understand, it doesn't say that on the paper,
Yes,
your
it
words
does.
are saying that.
It's
This number is a
negative.
rolling number, it
It's
is a rolling
negative.
number,
It's a year-end negative number.
okay.
That's what it is. October 23 to September 24. That is a fiscal year, and that is the net operating income is a negative $113,641.81. Now, is anybody on this council not seeing the same number I'm seeing? Are y'all all
I see the
seeing
same
that?
number you're saying.
Yes, but I do have a question.
and the
I do
minus
have a
in
question
front of
for
it.
everyone on the council.
Yes.
Okay, if you do your stuff on QuickBooks, when you do your yearly stuff, it'll show a deficit. It doesn't show what was previously in the account, does not show the funds that were already there. It just shows what was brought in for that time period
Right.
and what was spent. So Ms. Bernardi, will you please stop twisting those words?
That's not twisting.
Yes,
We're
it
done.
is.
Okay.
Alright, easy,
All right, we can agree to
easy,
disagree. That's enough.
easy.
Okay.
County 101.
No, we got it. We understand. And I understand what you're saying, and I understand what you're saying as well, but if you're looking at this piece of paper, that's exactly what it looks like if you're looking at
True,
this
but
piece
it
of paper.
doesn't matter. If you have common sense, you will know.
Sorry,
That was not intended as disrespectful at all.
Oh, wow,
I'm
okay.
just saying it.
Well, we can all read, and we can all see where it says it's a negative.
Alright,
Okay, we just need to vote.
may I speak?
Rolling balance, it would help if there was an actual balance here
Yes,
to
but the
show
P&Ls
with
do not
it.
show that. We
But
didn't send a balance sheet, so
we need a balance sheet to go with this to help
that didn't go.
make it a little more, cause it does, I mean, just looking at it, it does look like we went $113,000 in the hole on the sewer only.
Yes, and that is for
And
that time.
that would make you think that you took that much money out of, from somewhere else to finish paying for
Okay,
that.
but what about
if you just look
November
at
of 2023 when we had a net income of $6,000? See, the October one,
This is
This
supposed
is
to
a
be
year
year to
end.
date.
I'm
the
looking
year
I
at
end.
don't-
year end.
I'm looking at the others.
Okay.
October of 2023 was 1301, but we also don't get.
I know we
many
have
taxes.
positives on there as well.
No, but you're looking at year-end
Ma'am.
capture here. This is a year-end
We're trying to
capture.
get this straight so everybody
I
understands
have
it.
a hand up.
Yes, ma'am, just one moment, please. Okay,
There.
Ms. Hodges,
What this does is it says that on the last day of September in 2024, that appeared to be the result of the previous months. It does not take into consideration or account for the potential that on October 1 of 2024, that entire amount may have gone to positive. It is a snapshot over a period of time that changes virtually every month.
But this is a year-end.
It's a profit and loss report, which we also had to explain this to the USDA.
Yeah, can I give an example
It's a year-end.
that might be helpful?
If you don't mind
Go
being
ahead.
respectful.
Okay, we have, we had in the range of customers that you had, in October, we had 188. Customers. Okay, during the twenty
People would be
twenty-four
respectful to
fiscal
the
is when we had that $45,000 expenditure. Okay, if we do the math and look at the $22,748 that was generated in October 23, which was the first month of the fiscal year, where we had 188 customers, that $45,000 debt could not have been paid out of that month. Okay, that's why when you're seeing those negatives, it is a rolling number. That number is rolling. So
It's
it,
still a year.
so it doesn't mean that, you're right, it's still a year in.
Great detail.
But, yeah, it's still a year in, I get that.
That's not right.
But what I'm saying is when you have a debt like that and you only have 188 customers, there's no way you're gonna pay $45,000 in a month. So that didn't mean that money came from elsewhere that just suddenly fell into the city's hands to pay that. It meant that we had to wait until it had generated, to cover it. We had another one that was a $20,000 expenditure, around the same time frame in 2024. Those are some of the bigger costs that you got hit with in 2024's fiscal year. So, I don't know if that helps. It helps me to understand. I look at it like, how many sewer customers did it take to pay that debt? Well, it took at least 2 months. at those numbers to come up with $45,000, so.
And it also does not reflect the same way that, for example, your checking account register would reflect, which you're gonna have whatever balance, and it's going to keep rolling. That running balance is gonna keep rolling. You don't know how much money was in perhaps the account before October of 2023, and you don't know how much money was in the account at the end of September 2024. This is just it's not just, but this is an analysis of how that money comes in and goes out, but it doesn't show you the ongoing balances.
Like I said, we can discuss this in much more detail in the workshop.
Yeah, you're gonna have
Coming
other,
up, because it's gonna be a launch.
Well, it's,
yeah,
And
this
make
is
sure and
just
bring this back.
trying to get you ready and
Just
give you a preview,
And that way you got a chance to look it over, the whole thing, all of you,
it's very
can look
simple.
over the whole thing and have your questions ready for the workshop.
Okay,
We're on it.
so, I'm sorry,
Very simple. This is how much you took in,
Oh,
this is how much you.
I do have- when we have this workshop,
Mhm.
are our numbers gonna be the numbers? Or
What do
are
you
they
mean?
gonna change from the time we have the workshop?
You mean these numbers here?
Whatever numbers we're
All
gonna be
the final
looking
numbers,
at?
No,
Everything needs to be.
Are they be final numbers or?
We're still working on
Yeah,
that.
in the workshop,
start.
what you're gonna be doing is you're gonna be looking at the documentation that you were given. This is an explanation. Now, Chad Brown is the guru that's gonna be doing the rate analysis.
Uh-huh.
He's gonna be doing, it's also a training for the council. So there are some of those questions that I cannot answer, and he will be able to answer them for you. I apologize because I don't.
Well, I was
I
just
don't
trying
do
to
the
figure
rate,
out,
I know how to do a rate analysis, but I do not know what the
right,
criteria
I was
is.
just trying to figure out if the numbers that we're gonna be dealing with at that workshop are gonna be the numbers.
These are the numbers. The only thing that you have that is not,
Kind
yeah, the only thing that you have that is not the numbers is the sheet that I gave you that at the bottom, it tells you this is a base list and totals. And these do not reflect true totals, and the reason I say that is because in October, we had in October of 23, we had 188 sewer customers. We don't know, that's just your base.
yeah, I understand.
Right,
Where
we
you're
don't
coming
know,
from on that,
I mean,
I'm
we
just-
do know, but I mean, we're not reflecting it here.
Right.
How many of these people paid, how many did not pay, how many paid
How
a
many
$10 late
fees,
fee,
yeah,
how many were paying 3 months or 2 months or whatever. This is just to give you a base, which is what is needed for the rate analysis. And that's what you're looking at because you're determining what is going to be the rate of your sewer
Right.
bill.
Okay.
But these are supposed to be actual numbers. These are supposed to be legit actual numbers.
Yes.
Which ones?
Yes.
These are supposed to be our actual.
They're not supposed to be, they are.
Okay, then, so if those are our numbers, and that's how much income we took in, and this is how much we spent, then that's how much we have left, a negative $113,641. That's about as plain and simple.
Alright, I think the workshop will be able to explain it better for you so that you are have a better understanding of it. Now, the last thing that I had to comment on is bond counsel is now we are now in a position for the city to communicate directly with bond counsel. Now, I will be doing that. Bond counsel has strongly recommended that the city have a financial consultant work on these items with us to be sure that their expertise is going to keep the city from going off in a wrong direction because of misunderstanding or erroneous thought or misconstruing the information that is given. So I will be working with bond counsel to find the appropriate, somebody that does this with municipalities, financial consultant, and the financial consultant will participate in bringing this information to the bond counsel and me, and may potentially participate in front of council. I don't know that right now, because I haven't talked to him. but, has the potential of preventing some of the, sliding sideways for lack of adequate information or understanding that may have contributed to some past factors that got the city to this point. Anybody have any questions about a financial consultant? Yes, the city will have to pay for it. I expect, unless they pro bono. They're not as nice as I am, I'm sure. The other part of that is, does anyone have questions about bond counsel, what bond counsel does? Okay, I'm done then. Thank you all for your attention.
Item 7 is executive session, we're not going into executive session. Go down to announcements, do we have any announcements? Anybody? Nobody?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Happy to give you a motion to adjourn this
I have a
meeting.
motion, may I get a second?
I'll give you a second.
I have a second, and all those in favor, please say aye. Opposed? It is Hot Cove City Council meeting of April 15th, 2025. It is adjourned at 7:22 p.m.
Does anybody need folders?